everyone. So, this is the lecture on Habit 7, which is Sharpen the Saw. And I have a story that I wrote. I think I put it in there. But I can do like story time this way too. So I'm going to go ahead and tell the story. It's not going to be the exact same story as I wrote, I think, but because I just kind of go off the fly every time I do this. But go ahead and sit down, get comfortable. Close your eyes if you want to. Open your eyes. I don't care. Just listen to the story. All right. So, once upon a time, it's probably in the 80s because that's when this book was written, right? Seven Habits. There was a little boy who was just 16 years old and he just had got his driver's license and he wanted to take the car and do stuff as much as he possibly could, just like every other teenager in the world, right? They want the car, go do stuff. So there was this girl he was really super into, and he called her and asked her if she wanted to go out that evening. And she actually said yes. And it was crazy because he'd been working himself up to ask her for a long time. The problem was he hadn't quite asked for permission to borrow the car from his dad. And so he went to his dad and he said, "Dad, I finally got a date with this girl tonight. Please, can I borrow the car and take her out?" And Dad said, "Well, you haven't done what I asked you to do, so I guess when you do that, I'll allow you to go." And the son needed a little reminder that he had been neglecting his responsibilities to cut down a tree that his dad had asked him to cut down several weeks earlier, and he had failed to do. So he said, "Okay, sure, Dad, I'll do that. Please just where's the saw? I want to go on this date." So Dad said, "It's in the garage, and make sure you sharpen the saw first before you try to saw down the tree." And the son said, "Sure, Dad," and went off to the garage and got the saw. And then he thought about sharpening it, but my cat. He thought about sharpening it, but he was like, "I don't have time. I've only got like a couple hours before I have to go pick up this girl." So he just went out and decided to saw down the tree as it was. So he started sawing, and some time went by, and his dad started to worry about him and wonder what was going on with him. So he went to go check on his son, and he saw that he was only a quarter of the way through the tree. And he was kind of disappointed in him because he figured his kid was probably doing a bunch of, goofing off or not doing what he was supposed to. Otherwise, the tree would be, almost chopped down by now, if not gone by now. So he went up to his son and he said, "Son, what have you been doing this whole time?" And the son said, "I've been working really hard." And he said, "It's been an hour. It's not that big of a tree. You should have gotten it down by now." He said, "Oh no, it's just really, really hard." So his dad looked at the saw, looked at his son, and he said, "You didn't sharpen the saw, did you?" And the son lied and said, "Of course I did, Dad. Sure I did." And his dad knew he was full of crap. So he just said, "Son, I think I need to show you something." So he grabbed the saw, took his son with him into the garage, and showed him how to sharpen the saw. Then he led them back to the tree and he said, "Go ahead, try to saw it down now and see how it goes." Oh, pardon my kitten. She's about to go into heat, and there's no vet that will take her, so she's just going into heat. So where was I? Oh, Dad handed the son the saw and said, "Go ahead and try it now." So the son began to saw the tree, and he found that wow, the saw was cutting through the tree like butter. It was so much easier. And within 20 minutes, he had the rest of the tree sawed down. His dad helped him carry the tree to, be disposed of, and then he handed his son the keys and said, "Have a good night. But also remember, you should always sharpen the saw." And the son said, "Yeah, okay, Dad, I'll always sharpen the saw. I understand the lesson now. It's got to be sharp in order to cut quickly." Okay? So the moral of the story is that you are the saw. You are the saw. Okay? So that means that you have to stay sharp. So think about it this way. Whenever you're really tired and run down and weary, it's so much harder to get things done, isn't it? It's so much easier when you are sharp, awake, aware, alert, ready to go. So, how do we create more time where we're feeling alert, awake, and aware, and less time when we're feeling dull and not really ready? Okay. And the answer is, well, you kind of have to have some good habits in these four areas. And this week I'm asking you guys to do a juggling activity where each one of the balls represents a different area that you have to keep sharp. Okay, so those areas are the body, the mind, the heart, and the soul.